The release of Fortuna also brought some quirky, gimmicky, cool weapons that ultimately lacked in usability. Among those, the 2018 review of the Ocucor clearly showed the limitations of the weapon. However, fast forward to 2023 and Nora's Mix Volume 4 and there's a brand new Ocucor Augment. Can it save this weapon? Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be re-diving deeper into the Ocucor. I got a new player-friendly setup, something for a more casual tenno, but fear not, my veteran friends, you also got the Endgame setup that is fully capable of melting high-level targets. That said, please bear in mind that my builds and guides usually take a more new player-friendly tone, simply because I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So in case you're a vet and you already know most of this stuff, please, bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Ocucor. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And for that, just a couple of our regular free shots. The Ocucor is a corpus secondary weapon infused with sentient technology, but in more simple terms, it's a beam weapon. It's a beam weapon with a limited range of 20 meters by default. In the XL slot, nowadays you can equip Ruinous Extension, which will buff that range to 28 meters. Now the beam itself is nothing special, it doesn't chain to additional targets, it's no Cyclone, no Nucor action, but as soon as you manage to get a kill, you're gonna get yourself a tendril from the main gun, not the main beam. As you can see, it spawns from the reticle, locking onto any nearby enemy. Do a torso shot, not a headshot, so bear that one in mind. The problem with this tendril, fantastic as it may be, when you reload, it's gone. So what we gotta do is avoid reloading with the weapon, because in total you can have 4 additional tendrils, that is 5 sources of applying damage to your targets, and of course 5 sources of potentially applying a status proc. Not only that, the damage of the tendril is the same damage as your main beam. There is no damage fall off shenanigans, you're not losing any damage. The only issue, it doesn't go for headshots. And that's pretty much it for functionality. Let's hop into stats to see exactly what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is gonna be 60 out of 60, but as soon as you get the Ocucor, it's gonna be with 30 out of 30. You jump to actions and you plug in the Auto King Catalyst. Is it worth on the Ocucor? Should I even bother? And I'm gonna make this very simple. If you manage to get yourself the brand new Augment Sentient Surge from rank 9 of Nightwave Nora's Mix Volume 4, then yes, it is worth fully building the Ocucor. If not, forget about it now. Link in the cards right now for a fantastic other secondary weapon that you should be building. But let's go on ahead and assume that you did get Sentient Surge. Yes, accuracy 100, we don't care. Maximum ammo 300, which is fine. And I never thought this would be an issue, but it does get to be an issue. More on that later. Ammo pickup 60, fire rate of 12, which is okay. Magazine of 60, which is not bad as long as I don't have to reload. Noise alarming, reload on 1.6 seconds. Riven disposition sky high, 4 out of 5. Because like I said, nobody played with this weapon since it was a pretty much an weapon. Critical chance and critical multiplier, bad. 16% base for a 1.x critical multiplier, definitely not fantastic. Status chance is good at 24%, especially considering this is a beam weapon. Per ammo, you're getting 2 damage takes, therefore 2 sources of potentially applying a proc. As for the damage, this was always weird. You got yourself radiation and 1 puncture. X1. You know what? That actually will help later with a very specific mod. You know exactly which mod do I mean. Now, you should definitely unlock both the empty arcane slot and the XL slot. However, if you're a more newer player coming to the game, forget about these for the time being. In the XL slot, you're gonna have 2 best-in slots. I know, 2 best-in slots doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Ruinous Extension, 8 beam length like we talked before, 28 total. But if you're going for an endgame setup, then you're gonna find yourself needing something like pistol ammo mutation or primed pistol ammo mutation. Now, did I say 2? Because I actually meant 3. Eject magazine is also a fantastic option. Using this one solves the problem of our tendrils being reset. Now, let's have a look at an introductory level setup. Damage with Hornet Strike, multi-shot with Bell Diffusion, critical chance and critical damage through the use of the bullseye, which is creeping, and of course target cracker. Guys, if you got the prime mod, simply go for the prime mods, especially for prime target cracker. We also got Sentient Surge on the weapon, and we also got a bunch of elements. Pestilence, fantastic. You can farm this one from Corrupted Vor in the Void. Scorch can be obtained from spy missions, and Jolt Jolt is a bastard, essentially. Jolt, you can get this one only from Battle Key Tier, the Void Trader. And you know what, for the purpose of this demonstration, we're gonna swap it out for Convulsion, but if you got Jolt, you should definitely go for Jolt. And in the XL slot, we're gonna go with Ruinous Extension. So what does this mean? This means Corrosive, Heat, and Radiation. That means Doom for any Grineer target, right? Right? Well, yes and no. Allow me to demonstrate, but first let me make sure that my mag doesn't have corrosive projection or anything that can skew Z-test result. Now here's a quick refresher course on Sentient Surge in case you were not paying attention. Each target eliminated refills 20% of the Ocucor's magazine. Status chance and critical chance are increased by 60% for each tendril active. That means we got 4 maximum, right? 240% each. These are not bonus additive after. They will be bouncing off the base of the weapon. So let's start shooting. I'm gonna go for this guy. Going for headshots. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. I got a kill, and therefore my first little tendril is up. Look at my buff bar, 60%. That represents the 1 tendril. I'm going for the second guy. I killed the second guy. I got my ammo back. That massive 20%, 120%. I'm going for the next guy. Oh, got a kill on the next guy, 180%. Hey, this is not bad. But the problem is, that's the problem. Uh-oh. I had to reload. That means all my beautiful tendrils are gone, my buff is gone, everything is gone. So how can I bypass this? How can this be a bit easier? Well, you do have a couple of options, and let's explore said options. But as you can see, normally, even with a basic standard build, you almost get to keep your buff up most of the time, depending on the targets. What you gotta bear in mind is that these guys are pretty tough, and I'm already at 240%, and I'm almost consistently keeping my buff up, which means that there are pretty good things in store for the future when it comes to the build of this weapon. Almost got a kill there. A bit too late there. A bit too late. But I did start it off. You saw that? You got a kill after that, and you still started off with the 60% of the first tendril. Look at that. Beautiful. Now, how do I get to keep my magazine intact? Or how do I get to reload my magazine considering I want to keep my tendrils? And there's a couple of ways. The easiest way is eject magazine. Now, once upon a time, this was only obtainable from Nightwave. You can farm it now, it's not a problem. You can get eject magazine, which is why I have 12 of them. 20% magazine reload per second when holstered. Beautiful, that solves all my issues. Here's what you can do. Synth mods, my friends. You guys heard of a synth mod? You got 2 for your little companion, and you can also use 1 in your Warframe's XL slot as well. Bring up the Panzerwulpa. Yes, we are going into the realm of viral procs. Panzerwulpa is right now one of the best companions you can have because it provides that very important viral proc, and you can use synth mods on her that you should be using on her anyway, especially if you're going for equilibrium on your main Warframe. Synth Deconstruct and Synth Fiber. Holstering primary and secondary weapons reloads 10% of magazine per second. So I'm getting viral procs and I'm solving my issue with the ammo as well. Let's test out the weapon like so. Still a standard build, yes? So we're still using... Wait, am I still using the normal build? Please, cheap build. Yes, cheap build. Now you can farm a Panzerwulpa. It's not that hard. Come on, go and get yourself a Panzerwulpa because you will need it regardless. Trust me, she is the best. Yeah, I think she is the best right now companion in the game. Go for headshots. I'm gonna go for headshots. I'm gonna repeat the exact test as before. Panzerwulpa going for it. Look at you go. Look at her go. Well, she's not very reliable, but she is trying hard. Look at that. Oh, what the hell? What's going on? Why are you doing so much more damage? The viral procs, my friends. On your targets, you got viral procs now. I'm applying heat. You know what that means. Fantastic things will happen. Beautiful, amazing, great. Yes, that is pretty good. On the other hand, what you can do, of course, is replace the corrosive on your weapon with viral if you're not going to be counting on the Vulpaphyla. Now, I believe that in order to get the most you can out of the secondary weapon, you're going to need the Vulpaphyla anyway, so you might as well go for corrosive heat and viral from the Vulpa. One thing that I would like to point out, take a look at my ammo, it's going down. What you need to understand is that this fantastic augment doesn't generate ammo out of thin air. What it actually does is move ammo from your capacity, from your reserve into your magazine. So it doesn't generate ammo out of thin air, it simply moves it from one place to another, which is why in the XL slot you might want to go for something like an ammo mutation. So bear that one in mind. This concludes the new player portion of the guide. Honestly, this is a build that you can come up with really easily. It really depends, however, on Sentient Surge. This mod makes or breaks the weapon. Without it, you can just forget about the Ocucor. What? A Riven? Dude, I don't have a Riven. I don't want to buy a Riven for the Ocucor. Oh, but you should. You really should, because right now Ocucor Rivens are still on the cheap, and I don't know how much longer they will be on the cheap. I would grab one, because this bow 4 out of 5, and you're going to be getting a lot of power out of a decently rolled Ocucor Riven. But for the time being, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Fine. Let's go with a little bit of Toxin. Like so. Oh my god, good. I have enough capacity. And again, in the Excel slot, if I would reform my everything to fit all the builds I want to show you, I would probably go with pistol ammo mutation or primed pistol ammo mutation. So essentially this one, you just go with a dash symbol so it fits ruinous extension and pistol ammo mutation as well. I still got the Vulpa with me. We're gonna be repeating the same test as before, and then we're gonna talk about mod options. Yes, because you probably got some questions. Why not this? Why not that? The usual why not this and why not that? Go for headshots. Of course, you're gonna have to build a weapon a little bit because, well, it is a galvanized setup. Did you see what I have for an arcane? Did you see what I have? Of course you saw. You're a fantastic individual that pays attention to details. Yes, my friends, that is Cascadia Flare. And Cascadia Flare is gonna offer you so much flat damage, you wouldn't know what to do with it. This is the damage of the weapon. And hey, my Panzer Vulpaphyla just got here. You missed, you stupid Vulpaphyla. You missed. Did you miss? This is the damage you're looking at. It's absolutely bloody fantastic. Now, I am chomping away at my ammo, but honestly, if I could fit Little Torrent on this build, I so would. Right now, I'm not really relying on any Warframe buffs per se. I am relying, however, a little bit on that Vulpaphyla as a backup. You see, I am chomping through ammo, and there will come a point in actual gameplay when you're low on ammo and you don't want to reset your tendrils, in which case, not a problem. Let's see here. I'm shooting. I'm missing everything, almost everything. I can switch back to my primary weapon and the secondary will be loaded up. Take a look at that. I didn't even hit him with the main beam. I only hit him with the additional tendrils that go for body shots, not for headshots. Only the main beam can generate headshot multi. So, let's talk about stuff and things. Cascadia Flare is going to be your best in slot, but you do have one additional option I wasn't able to test properly. This one is a new one. It's called Cascadia and Power. Check this one out, guys. On status effect, deals 750 damage, matching the damage type of the status effect. Now, if my math is correct, and it usually is, this should be fantastic. And if you got this one, test it with this one, it should be juicy. Of course, why no Bane mod? I want a Bane mod in my life. Sure, here's your Bane mod. Get your Bane mod. You can put your Bane mod instead of Galvanized Shot, or if you want to, instead of Pistol Gambit, considering you're gonna get 240% critical chance from Sentient Surge. Anyway, I would just replace Galvanized Shot if you really must have a Bane mod on it. As for the Riven, we're gonna go back to this one. Damage, critical damage, and Toxin. You're gonna have to get at least one element on the Riven mod, because here's the thing, like I said before, there are a lot of mods which I want to put on this weapon, but there's not enough space. If I had enough space, I would definitely go for something like a Bane mod, because yes, it adds a whole lot of power, yada yada. Do not go for something silly like Hemorrhage, because obviously you're not generating any impact procs. So, game. Oh, this is so not the time for this. Now, we were about to retest the weapon one more time, this time using the power of that Dispo 4 Riven. And I do recommend you pick up a Riven. Again, try to look for an element on it. The most flexible will be Toxin, but Heat is definitely a good idea as well. Switch to secondary, we're going to have to build it up because this is a galvanized setup. We're going to build up Flare and essentially everything. We also got the Vulpaphyla that will eventually apply some vital procs. And as you can see, the weapon melts absolutely everything that stands before it. I don't even need to get close to my targets because, again, even without Ruinous Extension, I still got that range of 20 meters, which is basically this. Now, let's say I'm not gonna hit anything with my main beam. I can do this. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Absolutely freaking insanity, man. I love the way those beams actually lock on to a target. Now, let's say I'm low on ammo. Oh no, how terrible. I missed everything. The beam missed everything. I'm only on 20 ammunition, which is enough to kill some targets, but I can switch to my primary weapon. Boom, boom, kill a couple of things, or whatever else you do with your primary weapon, which is, well, kill a couple of things. Switch back to the Ocucor, and thanks to that synth mod, already back to full magazine capacity. But I know what you're saying, dude, these are standing still targets. Yes, but you see, we're going for body shots most of the time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We're gonna go to steel path before I give you one more option. Now let's assume, gentlemen, that you're not gonna be taking the Panzerwulpapfeiler for whatever reason. Maybe you want something else, or perhaps you didn't farm it just yet. In that case, what I would do is build viral directly on the weapon for the best results. But I would not do it with Frostbite, the 6060 cold mod. What I would try to go for is Ice Storm, 40% magazine capacity and 40% cold. Now it's not a complete win with this one because you are getting 84 magazine capacity up from 60, which makes the gameplay a whole lot smoother and easier and less fear of, oh my god, I reloaded my weapon and dropped my tendrils. But you are giving up a fair bit of status chance, which means you're not going to be applying heat procs that consistently. So bear that one in mind. For the quote-unquote endgame setup, I would still use a Riven. Now off to Steel Path. Welcome to the Void, my friends. Now let's see what the weapon can do. We're gonna do a survival because this one has better mob density and all whatnot. Now my Protea isn't exactly gonna buff the Ocucor, so bear that one in mind. We're gonna go for headshots, and of course my Protea will be surviving by shield gating and all whatnot. Yes, I will bring you a full and detailed build guide on the fantastic Protea later, my friends. Absolutely later. I still have the Panzerwulpapfeiler for that important synth deconstruct and sync whatever else. And we still have the vital procs from her. Now let's see what we can do with this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Mama, what? Mama, what's happening, mama? I don't know. I don't know, the Ocucor is owning. What did you do, DE? What did you do? Did you do it on purpose? Of course they did it on purpose. Look at this. Look at this fantastic gameplay. Beautiful. Essentially, it melts whatever. I don't know what else to tell you. It just simply goes through whatever stands before you. It does not care in the slightest. And I'm trying not to buff with anything. The only thing that is helping me, realistically speaking, is that Panzerwulpapfeiler. Look at this. Oh, did I tell you I don't have a faction mod on? Because I bloody hate those things. Yes, no faction mod. You can slot it in. You can slot it in if you want to instead of the Riven, for example. That is totally fine. No problem whatsoever. Take a look. Take a look. Now, granted, as the enemy will be scaling up in level, this will become more and more difficult, but you can still buff the weapon using Warframe buffs. This is without Warframe buffs, realistically speaking. This is the kind of performance you can expect. And I can keep staying here and melting these targets with great prejudice, but it's not really gonna prove anything more than this. And keep in mind that you are applying a whole lot of heat procs to your targets, which means crowd control. Yes, 5 targets at a time, and that is definitely beautiful. That's an Eximine with the Overguard. No more Overguard, no more Eximine, nothing. Burned to a crisp. To a crisp, my friends. Now, there's still one thing. What about an Acolyte? These targets are easy to kill, yada yada, blah blah, all of that stuff. Yes, you do have a point. Let's check out an Acolyte. Damn, this is beautiful. Flash, flash. Now, what you gotta bear in mind that my Protea has Roar. You see that? I do have Roar on her as a Samsubn ability because it's absolutely fantastic on her. But you know what? I'm not gonna use it, okay? We're just gonna go without Roar. Where's the guy? Here's that guy. I'm shooting guy. Look at the HP drop. Well, technically, now what you're seeing is the shield drop. I'm gonna try to get some ammo back by killing targets. Make sure I can shield gate so I don't die to this guy. This is the kind of performance you're looking at. Yeah? It's not fantastic. It is not a very good showing, but it is what it is, my friends. There we go, still alive, getting ammo back, melting everything. He's there somewhere. I think I'm hitting him. Oh, yeah, that's him. Her? Him? I don't know. Mania. I'm not sure which is which. I'm just afraid of the bubble guy. Look at that. He crowd controlling me, still alive. Thank you so much, Protea, for being amazing. There you go. Now, obviously, if I would have used Roar, that would change a little bit the situation, because obviously I'm going to be getting a whole lot more damage. But again, I wanted you to see exactly what the weapon is capable of. It is not a Acolyte destroyer per se, but as you can see, the performance is still hella impressive. Now, gentlemen, I do believe it's time to draw some much needed conclusions. They did it. Digital Extremes actually revitalized this weapon. Nobody played with this weapon because there was no reason to play with this godforsaken weapon. It was at best. However, with the brand new augment, this becomes quite the powerful and interesting weapon. And while I wouldn't use it exactly to nuke Acolytes, it's still one hell of a crowd clearer, and I would highly recommend you not only get the Ocucor, but the augment for it as well. In case it wasn't clear, without the augment, the weapon is simply not worth playing. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below, if you want to suggest any particular type of content, like, hey, I would like to see this weapon build, and that weapon build, and so on and so forth. What? No Warframe buff section? Well, technically we are in the Warframe buff section because we are using Roar. And while this Roar cannot possibly compete with a maxed out Eclipse, it's still good enough. And I believe it offers a clear indication of what the weapon can do. Oh, and if you love the content and you want to help me keep making it, consider supporting us via Patreon. There's going to be a link in the upper right portion of the screen right about now. But until next time, my friends, bye-bye.